Yo. What is going on? Why y'all quiet? Where y'all at? What y'all doing?
Listen, man, we were so close. We were so close.
Huh?
We're in a couple of places.
Y'all are at a couple of places? What do you mean?
Yeah. Right now we was just going over the tabernacle on the thing, but Jennifer had a question on the altar that David built.
The altar that David built?
Yeah, on 2 Samuel 24.
What about it?
Wait, Jennifer.
What about the altar?
Okay, so let me get there. In the last verse, it reads this. And David built there an altar unto the Lord and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. So the Lord was entreated for the land, and the plague was stayed from Israel. Okay, I see David building.
Do you have a question about that or what?
Is this representing the body?
Oh,
the altar
all right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go over harnessing emotions a little bit first, and then remind me about that question. I'm trying to get like study stuff out the way at the beginning on YouTube. Right. So, whatever the title is, within just a minute or two, whoever's trying to listen to that needs to be what they may not want to hear all the mumbo jumbo that we do. So, but if they choose to, they can stay afterwards and try to reset your goal one more time. I literally just reset it. What do you mean? Yeah, guys, y'all don't have to like fill that up real quick. It's there for algorithm purposes. It's weird, man. It's just like this. If your live is doing good, then people will, complete your goals. So y'all don't have to it's not about, like hurrying up and, just click it once and then wait a while and click it again. Or, I don't know, within 15 or 30 minutes or so, that we can do one or two of them. We don't have to do 10 and 10 minutes. It's just there for algorithm purposes. But like I said, if you feel like you want to fill it up, obviously go ahead. But that's not like if you don't fill this up in the next 5 minutes, we're turning off, So, but obviously Meg and everyone else that completes those tasks, I mean, obviously we appreciate it. All the monies that come into Descaled, whether it's TikTok or YouTube, they go to push out content. Here pretty soon I'll be making some more videos, and what we do is we promote them. We utilize that to promote the videos, and it does bring more people to the channel. I wish it brought a whole lot more, but that's, it is what it is. But we're trying to transition. So like if you're subscribed to the TikTok, Descaled TikTok, try if you can, if it's possible. It's no must do, but we're trying to transition those subscriptions to Descaled YouTube. And I think they're called memberships. Yeah, they're called memberships on YouTube. So we're trying to transition all of that. I'm not saying everybody has to, but that's what we're trying to do. And I've kind of went over it a few times. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but all right. Anyhow, other than Jennifer's fun question that she has, it's always good to have the hard and fun questions. Those are amazing. Make sure you like and subscribe. Oh, my bad, Brenda. We're here reading her comments.
You need to reset your live goal again, Trop.
Okay.
They're gonna get you on that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just letting them know, like, it's not there to blow up.
You know what you could do? Just put it at 100.
No, I've tested all the numbers, and for whatever reason, 50 is the best one. 50 is the best one. What?
Trot wants some love. He wants love. Trot.
What's up, buddy? What? You want to say
Is that
hi?
a boy or a girl?
That's a boy.
Boy.
Yeah.
That's called a red nose lab.
Not red nose. Not red nose.
Bro, that's a red nose lab, bro.
No, bro. Amber. They're amber nosed, not red nose.
That's a red nose.
So you got black nose and you got amber nose.
Great. Make him prove it.
Prove
I
what?
fact checked them on it.
Who's Amber and what does she know?
Hey, listen. Let's get the live going. Everybody, please go to the TikTok shop. We're going to be selling today a whole bunch of gadgets that you do not need.
Gadgets.
However, the TikTok shop is working today on the Trot Live.
He said,
Trot will be selling gadgets on TikTok. And guess what? Today we have a promotion. It used to be $50,000. Today it's only $1.99, but you will pay $7,000 in shipping. It makes it all up, but we're doing TikTok shop today.
he said gadgets. Y'all, we sell all kinds of gadgets. We don't need to be. Hey, yeah, we don't.
Sells his prayer beads.
We don't need to. We don't need to break down those gadgets. They're gadgets. Y'all all know what gadgets are. Okay, so come here and go gadget, whatever item.
You call them useless items.
Useless
items.
Hey, have y'all seen the useless fidget? The useless fidget items. Have anybody seen those on TikTok? No.
Yeah, the one that's supposed to help with your anxiety and you're flipping around.
Well, I don't know what they're for, but one of them looks like a pew pew, and you put fake bullets in it, and it's like, look, they're like, look, you could play with it. And I'm like, what?
They're like reloads.
Well, yeah, I'm like, what?
Go get you a real one, man. Stop being cheap. Go get you a real
Yeah,
one.
go get a real one, bro, and come to the Grip Mastery range and be embarrassed. Come to my range where you'll never feel like you have Christ inside of you.
Hey, you know what? What I actually ordered off of TikTok specifically for Descale is I don't know if y'all remember. Remember when we met up in Colorado? I had like my little massage thing.
You had a what?
My finger on it. My massage. It's like a massager. You cut it on.
Massage gun.
Yeah, and I put my finger on it.
Pew pew. TikTok shop. Yeah. Everyone, TikTok shop.
TikTok shop. Yeah, I put my
Bro,
finger
let the
on
man
it, and it
speak,
made my
man.
finger vibrate.
God, Christian, let him speak.
Yeah, Christian, we're gonna have to talk. Christian, we're gonna have to talk about all this ad libs. Where's CJ at? CJ, where you at? He ain't here. I'm gonna have CJ give Christian an ad lib.
CJ's at work. All
right, well, CJ's gonna have to give Christian.
If you give me supermod powers, I'll take care of him. Don't worry about it. I'll be muting him every second.
We're gonna have to. CJ's gonna have to give him a lesson on ad libbing. Him and Hulk. Where's Hulk at? Neither one of them are up here. They're probably in here listening though. Okay, now that everybody has interrupted Breezy 500 times. Go ahead, Breezy. Take it away. Take it away, Earl.
No, but when we met up in person, I had the massage thing with me, and remember I put my finger on it and made my finger vibrate, and I'm tapping the screen, and y'all was like, they should make a gadget like this. They literally made like a thing that just likes to scream for you. I just ordered it off the TikTok shop specifically for Descale. So it should be like over 100,000 likes every time I come on here.
100,000, my God! But the thing is, bro, there's like lives that they have 10 of those people, and they get like 1 million. They get 1 million of them. All right. Anybody got anything in anything other than any of that? So we can get into harnessing emotions.
Can you confirm something for me, Trap?
Oh, what?
Can you confirm that all heifers are exactly the same?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I was listening. Levi was watching cartoons the other day, and it was like an animal cartoon, and that this is so stupid, but like an animal cartoon, it was a cow, and it was like moo, 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 and I said, Trap's talking to its heifer.
Oh. Hey, bro, I'll tell you what's fun. Hey, I'll tell you what's the most like the funniest thing is like, because bro, we're married. She's waiting for it. I get her so a lot of the times though, but a lot other times she's waiting for whatever shenanigans that I'm about to throw at her. And I remember one day she was like, hey, can you grab me this, that, da. Bro, I swear, she already had done told me 100 times to get up from the bed. Hey, can you get me? Hey, I was wondering, bro, this time in my head, I'm like, I already had said it. I said, oh, she tells me one more time, hey, can you do this? I'm about to start mooing. Like as soon as she says something. And she's like, oh, can you get? And I was like, and she started mooing back. I grabbed my pillow. I was like, whoosh, whoosh. What's wrong with you, woman? She started moving back to me. She tried to get me back. Yeah, no, 100%. Women and if you haven't seen, it's older. I want to say it might even be 90s, bro, like 80s. I don't know. It's old. But if you have not seen or heard of Laugh Your Way into a Better Marriage, you need to go watch it. If you haven't seen or heard of it, I'll say it again. Laugh Your Way into a Better Marriage. I do not recall the guy's name, but he is 100% not an alpha male. He is a Bravo male, if that makes any sense. But he, you're a goated streamer? What the heck? What are you people talking about? What does that mean? Oh, talk about.
Do you have time for my ad libs?
Do what?
I said, I don't know if you have time for my ad libs. I'll explain what a goated.
Well, that wouldn't be considered an ad lib. That would be you considering making a comment based on the comment. Ad libs is when you completely interrupt what someone is saying so you can throw your 2 cents in there. Those are called ad libs. Are you saying you want to like just make a comment based on what I said?
Yep.
Okay, hold on. Let me read. Tahi Bradford. Tahi, where are you from? Tahi Bradford. I know I'm not pronouncing that right. Forgive me. It means you're like the best. Well, I know what the word goat means. Oh, you're a goated streamer?
The greatest of all time.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
greatest of all time.
I don't think I'm the goated streamer. Are you saying that you just see me pop up in your feed a lot? I apologize. I'm from the US. Hey, they're saying that every time they're going through, like, God, man, this dude with his torn up hat. I had somebody send me a message in one of the lives, like the comment. It was an older live, and they're like, "Golly, I cannot get away from this dude in his stupid hat." Somebody said, "I was like, God." I was like, God. I was like, hey, and I read it real slow to make sure I read it right. So I was like, hold on, did I read? I cannot get away from this guy and his stupid hat. I'm like, no, that's what it said. I was like, heck with my hat. I'm from the U.S. No, I just think you are really cool. Okay, well, Tahi, I think you're really cool too. Oh, I got clowned yesterday. Who was it? JD. JD and Hebrews. You know Hebrews that comes in here and he's always throwing jokes. Yeah. So JD, they know each other. I'll just put it like that. JD sent me a message and say, man, you gotta. He said you gotta not clowned. What word? Trolled. He said you got trolled hard the other day, and I said I got trolled hard the other day. I said. Yeah, and I said, what do you mean? And he sent me a clip, and I'll let you say this word in your head, but they put on there that it was somebody's birthday, and they said it was Mike's birthday, and I was like, Mike? I was like, Mike who? Which Mike? And the last name. Oh yeah. Hold on a second. And I don't want anyone to repeat it. Just write it down if you have to see. But the last name of Mike, okay, because it had, just like if it was, Johnny Johnson, right? It had the first and last name, and the last name of Mike was spelt, like the bird, Hawk, hawk, okay, like the bird. But when you say the first and last name real fast, you're kind of getting into the carnal mind there. The person obviously did that on purpose. And so JD was watching the live and he's like, "Oh crap, dude, you got trolled hard yesterday." I said, "What do you mean?" He sent me the clip. And I said it a few times out loud and I was like, that was a good one. That's kind of like if you ever seen a Bart.
I still don't get it. I'm gonna write it down.
Write it down. Write Mike, and then right beside it, write the last name, and it's spelt like the bird. So just
there's no way you don't get it.
No. He'll get it, bro. He'll figure it out. Like a fifth grader can figure that out. It's just because we're talking about God and stuff. When you're in the spirit, you're not focused on that. I mean, unless someone starts throwing it in your face, which it almost got to that point. But I think Benny.
Oh, I had to say it out loud.
Yeah. So, but hey, Sid, Dre, when you got a chance, send that to Benny and ask him if he knew, because I think Benny picked up on it really quick. You don't have to. Hey, guys, can you stop putting it in the chat? I literally just said, don't say it out loud. Like, oh my Lord, have mercy. Please, Lord God. I don't need it all over the place. What is the deal? Anyway, but Benny, as soon as I said it out loud, Benny, bro, like this, like Benny was like, "Hey man, I think they're trolling. They're trolling." I said, "They're trolling?" I said, "All right." I just kind of left it alone. And I remembered, I was like, man, I wonder why Benny was acting like that. Benny heard it, bro. Because I said it out loud in the video. And I think Benny was like,
"What the?" More than once. I kept telling you to stop.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I don't care if I said it 100 times. The point is, I said it out loud. Benny picked up on it. He's like, "Hey man, they're trolling. They're trolling." Like the way he threw it out there, I was like, okay, they're trolling. All right. I just left it alone. I'm gonna trust them. If I'm being trolled, let's see. Let me see. All right. All right. Anybody got anything else before we hop into harnessing your emotions? Anybody?
Is this going to be about the same amount of time as spirit, soul, and body?
I don't think it's going to be 2 months long, to be honest with you. Why? Is that too long for you or what?
No, just wondering. I was just curious.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say it's definitely going to be a week. Let me just say that. I mean, it could be 2, it could be 3. But I don't think it's going to be a full month, to be honest with you. So, yeah. Breezy's like, man, can we talk about some shadows? I want to talk about some shadows. That'd be Dre too. It's like, hey, can we talk about some shadows?
100%. That's for sure. I'm like, yo, can we get on some shadows?
Can we get on some shadows? I'm like, bro, discipleship. He's like, oh, yeah. We're discipling. Dre's counting his fingers. All right. Oh, bro, I apologize. Bro, you will not believe. Where is my heifer in here? Is my heifer in here?
Check. She's not.
I don't know. Call her. Try call her.
You're safe. She's not in.
No. Hey, if I call her, can y'all hear her?
I don't think.
I was talking about doing her call, like your moo call.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Hold on, let me see. Hold on a second. Hold on.
They tried to. Hey, bro, I don't know about y'all, but if I did that to my wife, bro, y'all would not see me on these cameras.
Yeah, dude, I would be not here.
My wife don't play. She don't play with any of my jokes.
Nah, can't get away with that one. I'm arguing with my wife about
vanished.
No, I want her to tell you what she did the other day, bro. I want her to tell you I want her to express. I about back suplexed her in the middle of the store the other day. Let me see. We'll give her a second. Hey, woman. Hey, request to come up. Come up here and with me for a second.
Yeah, go ahead. Drop me down.
Yeah, she won't. She won't be up here long, Bill.
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm not letting Bill back up. For the record.
Yeah,
Jennifer, stop dropping.
Get your butt out of here.
yeah. Everybody, click. No, I was kidding.
No, I dropped Bill. I sent him to Zamzam.
He went. Oh, okay. You zammed him. I'm here. I know. Request to come up in the box, silly. Click on the plus sign. Remember math? Subtract, divide, plus. That plus sign means to add you in the box. Click on that plus sign and request to come up. Oh my gosh. Are you there? Hello? Hey.
Don't speak to me like that.
Hey. Hey, why don't you tell everybody what you did when we were in Academy the other day?
I don't know what you're referring to.
The Hey-Doos.
What about them?
You don't remember the Hey-Doos?
No. Out of the fish one?
Hey, don't. Hey, whoa, don't. Whoa, time out. Don't. Hey, hold on. Don't. Hold on a second. Don't listen. Don't ruin it by describing the kind of shoe it is. Just tell the story. Oh my God, I'm about to zam you. You're ruining the story.
Go ahead. You're the one bothering me, sir.
Hey, hurry up, ma'am. Explain the story so you don't get fired.
We were in Academy, and I saw these cute shoes that will fit Trot's personality perfect. Because I know that y'all been talking about short people going to the pole, and the shoes look like elf shoes. I told Trot to get those shoes because it matches his personality and his size.
Bro. She's like, bro, we're looking at Hey-Doos. We're looking at shoes. And all I hear is, hey, babe, here's some for you right here. Bro, I am thinking that she found some cool shoes. And I said, where? And she's like, these right here. Look, this will fit you perfectly. Bro, they're elf shoes. They look like Buddy the Elf shoes, bro. And I was like, bro, no, you did it. She's like, bah! I'm about to back suplex her right there in the middle of freaking Academy, dude. I'm like,
negative.
Affirmative.
Mackenzie, I think that is. I know you saw my video of me being sad because my friend that's 5'6" is going to be gone to the North Pole.
I can't wait till your friend goes to the North Pole. Bro.
That's not where I'm going. Me and Jesus are going on a secret mission.
Mackenzie's a saint, bro. I don't care what nobody says. She needs to be venerated as a saint. She's married to Trot.
Thank you, Dre. I appreciate your kindness.
I already know what's about to happen.
All right, are you done, ma'am? I had to bring that one up. Everybody has stained my heifer over here. Yes, she's stained.
Okay.
She's stained.
Yes, I'm done. I'm going to go eat lunch. Y'all have a blessed day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Enjoy your lunch. God bless.
How are you still up here? You know what? Don't worry about it. I got you.
I don't know how to do it.
I got you. Don't worry about it.
Yo, the girls. You ain't right. Yo, the girls be blessing her. They be gifting her up to the thousands. As soon as she gets on these.
Oh my God! Man. Why do y'all do? So how much did they gift her this time?
Wait. No, I think
she got 1,000.
Bro, guys, she just came up here just to tell a joke.
But she can actually promote your videos with that money, just so you know.
It wasn't just the girls. God. You weren't paying any attention.
It was Christian.
Come on, spill me.
Oh, yeah. She can get her job up here.
Yeah. It was Christian, wasn't it? Christian.
You know it.
Oh, my God. Christian, you're such a brown-noser, dude.
That's why Jordan dropped them.
Oh, somebody sent him to Zamzam Land?
He hasn't learned loyalty.
He still ain't learned, huh?
Quick, you can't side on the heifer side. Bro.
Yeah, bro, what's wrong with you, bro?
Look, he's a traitor. Yo, he's a Benedict Arnold. He said, because y'all dropped me, he blessed her.
Oh my Lord! Wait a minute. So he was dropped before he sent it?
I don't know. I think he's lying, but
he sent it after he was dropped. Because he was dropped before she got up here.
Oh.
He says, no, it wasn't me.
Okay. He was sent to Gulag. He 100%.
Gulag. Hey, Saba know that Gulag. Well, I love using the Gulag. Well, I'll send you to the Gulag in a heartbeat.
What did Vikima say?
Right you go right to the gas chamber.
Yeah, get you some. Hey, matter of fact, when you go in there, open your eyes real wide like this.
Start singing Spangled Banner, okay?
Yeah.
Try. Did they make y'all do that in boot camp or police training?
What?
Yeah, bro.
The gas chamber?
Yeah, and depending on your job is going to depend how many times you do it, right? So, like, you have people that their main job is not dealing with that, so they do it maybe 1 or 3 times, like in 10 years. And then you got people that could be like exposed to that, like in reality, bro. You go through it every 6 months, basically. So because your gas mask that you have, like, and we're not talking about people getting fat. Your facial features over time change. They're not always the same, and so you may have gotten a medium one when you first started, like the inner mask, and then come to find out, maybe you lost weight in your face, or maybe your cheek muscles stick out just a little bit more, which means, and people would think you need to get a bigger one. No, you need to get a smaller one to make that seal better. It's not always about. So every few months you have to, bro. Like if they call you, hey, y'all need to go over here or you need to go over there, and it's been a year or two and you ain't checked your seal, and they're like, well, there's other ways to do it. Nah, bro. No, there's not. There's other ways to see if the seal is good or bad, like with your eyeballs. But you want to know if it really works, you go in that chamber, you drop that pill in that bucket and start breathing. Then you'll know. You'll know for sure if it's working. If you get that in your mask, you're like, hey, the seal's no good anymore. Right.
I was on a training facility, so we did it all like regularly.
What was the reason?
Every time drill instructor school went to the gas chamber, every new class, we had to go with them.
Yeah, but what's the purpose of you going with them?
Because I was part of support battalion. So yeah, because
you were stationed. Because you were stationed there. You were stationed with them.
Yeah, I was stationed there.
Yeah. So
I was part of drill instructor.
Yeah,
school.
that's different, right? So if you got a bunch of infantrymen that at any second can be going overseas, if you're a cook and you're stationed with them, you got to do it with them, regardless if you're infantry or not. So there are support, but not all. It's just a small amount of them will be going over there with them, not because they're going to be out there kicking doors, but because where the infantrymen are going to be living, they're not going to be far from where actual combat's going to be, which means they can get mortared or they can get gassed.
Oh, look at Christian trying to be a smart butt. He's trying to get on you. Oh, Christian.
What'd he say?
Oh, you about to get it.
Are we learning? Hey, no, hold on. No, the good question, Christian, are we learning? Hey, Christian, were you in the service?
I muted him for a minute.
I wish you would have left it alone. Well, all right, Craig, he ain't gonna be able to answer. But Christian, I haven't heard you talk about the service, so I don't think you were. So yes, you are learning right now. You are. So yes, you're learning. All right, let's get harnessing your emotions. So for the past 2 months, believe it or not. For the past 2 months, we have been going over spirit, soul, and body. And I went over it in depth this time because I'm just so tired of people that don't even come to descaled acting like that spirit, soul, and body is not a real thing. 100% it is doctrine. It is 100% real. And for anyone to deny the fact that we are spirit, soul, and body, you're denying it because you do not read the Bible. If you were to read and study the Bible, you will see it to be true. If not, then you just don't read it, or you don't like the fact that you didn't understand this before someone else, so you're mad and you just don't want to talk about it. So you rather talk about other things. Well, if you're trying to make disciples, which you should be, because the Bible says, Jesus said, go ye and make disciples. And he wasn't just telling his disciples to go make disciples and stop. You don't think the disciples of Jesus told the disciples that they were making to make more disciples? How else are other people supposed to come to the Lord? So is everybody in the world supposed to be getting saved, or was it just the disciples? It's so funny how people take the Bible and compartmentalize it based on years, like dispensationalists. Look, the word dispensation wasn't created by dispensationalists. The word dispensation is a real word, and we do use it. They used it way back in the day. There's people that use it today. It's a real word, and it's not wrong to talk about the Bible in a dispensation way, because there are certain things that are happening at certain times. But to compartmentalize yourself with just dispensations, you're leaving out shadow. You're leaving a lot of stuff out because you're just trying to stay focused on the dispensation. I tell people all the time, if you get saved and you're not sure how to read the Bible, I'm talking about how to start, go hang out with the dispensationalist. I believe a lot of dispensationalist people are saved. I don't believe they're banned to hell because they don't understand everything. So they will help you understand how to read black letters on a white page. And you can at least learn something. I don't believe that they're Satan lying about everything, even though a dispensationalist, even a Calvinist at times will say you're going to hell if you're not part of their crew. And the denomination of the Catholics and other denominations, they all will say, if you don't do this one specific thing or two specific things after being saved, you're going to hell, and it's all hogwash. It's a complete lie. It's not true. It's just a fear factor that these Nimrods came up with to scare people into their brick and mortar buildings. The other day, I was listening to a live, and they were having I wasn't in there but a couple of minutes, but I heard people saying that you have to go to a brick and mortar, the church building. You have to go there. First of all, I don't think we have to do anything. We get to, if you haven't found a physical church to go to, man, look around. It's kind of looking for shoes. I hate to put it that way, but you need to find one that fits. Just find one. There will be people in there that you can get along with, fellowship with, and they're sincere and real people. You can find good people. Just remember, don't let people be your friend in 5 minutes. That's not how you make friends. That's not wise. You're not going to be my friend in 5 minutes. It's not going to happen. Okay. I'm very careful about who I let in my life, and I believe that every person should be that way. And, sometimes people can choose for you not to be around them. But if you're a good person to hang out with, they're missing out. And you don't go tell them, I want you to know, without me in your life, you're missing out. No, they're going to be fine without you. There's other people they can hang out with, but for some reason, people make their own choices. And they'll say, well, I don't hang around this person. They'll give a reason. But there'll be 100 people that will laugh at that reason, be like, I think that person's amazing. And they have no concern like this other person. So there's going to be churches that you're not going to feel like you fit in. And there's going to be other churches with like, man, we can't do church without you. We love it when you're here. And you need to go where you're praised by people because you're a believer. And you need to be around people who like being around you. Stop trying to force yourself to be around people that you feel this would be a good friend. No. A person who is your friend, by definition, you'll know it. And that's who you want to be around. So I'm saying all that because people are arguing about whether or not, and I mean, there was a couple of people that was blasting social media, like YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. They were blasting it saying, you can't, that's not how you're a Christian. You don't get on apps And man, that is, yeah, you can bring people to God. And it was so funny. You can bring people to God, but that's not how you do it. And I couldn't help but I was dying laughing. But like I said, I wasn't there but a minute or two. And I made a comment and I'm like, what? And the guy's like, no, real discipleship is right there with the people. You're right there. And I'm like, no, I put in there, you're talking about mentorship. We got in this day and age, we're in this day and age where people think discipleship is mentorship. And they go, isn't it the same thing? No, bro. That's why the words are different. They're not the same thing. There may be some mentoring in discipleship, but discipleship is focused on Jesus. Mentorship has nothing to do with Jesus. People who don't believe in God, they can mentor another person on how to be really good at their job. It has nothing to do with Christ. So you can use mentoring as a part of discipleship, but they're not the same thing. So discipleship, the Spirit doesn't have to be standing right next to you. That's what's awesome about discipleship, is it's the Word that brings the truth. The Word does. And you don't have to be there right next to them. And they're like, yeah, because you got to watch them. Oh, man, it was bad. Like I said, I didn't stay there but a minute or two. But, there's nothing wrong with going to a church building. So, all right, let's get on with harnessing emotions. So, all right, so somebody look up the word harness, if you don't mind, like in a dictionary. Somebody look that up real quick.
I got you. So harness, in the definition in dictionary.com, it says harness is the combination of straps, bands, and other forms of working gear for a draft animal. It says the frame containing heddles through which the wrap is drawn, in which the combination with another such frame or other frames forms shed and determines the woven pattern. Equipment as straps, bolts, and gears by which large bell is mounted and rung. Yeah.
So the Heritage Dictionary describes it a little bit different, but I just wanted to get at least two. Kelly put a corral. What? All right. But your harness in the Heritage Dictionary, it basically says to bring under control and direct, right? The force of, right? So it's really descriptive of the way, that the Lord will have us deal with our emotions, right? To bring under control and direct, right? To bring under control and direct the force of, like the force of something, right? And I really, when you pay attention to the Bible in its entirety, and we see this all over the place. We see it, and I will always continue to bring up Elijah, where he's mocking these men that are calling to their God. It's on Mount Carmel, the 450 prophets of Baal, and he's mocking them because they're screaming and nothing is happening, right? Because Elijah put this bet that whoever God is going to answer, let him answer by fire. And so you have these 400 prophets of Baal, you have Elijah, and the 450 prophets of Baal, they go first. And they're sitting there screaming, like, come on, God, send the fire. And Elijah's like, hey, why don't you scream louder? Maybe your God is sleeping. But he knew that they were the way they viewed God was very carnal and they're in their flesh. He even tells them to, break the skin, like to cut themselves and let the red stuff, I don't want to say the word, but let the red stuff flow out of their body. The way that he's talking to them, and then that's what they end up doing. They start, they're 100% in their belly, 100% in their flesh. And I believe that the reason that we see prophets and God speak to humans this way is because they were in a state of worshiping the creation rather than the creator. And the Bible tells us this, that there are people that they worship the creation. And so this is what these people are doing. The prophets of Baal, there is no Baal. Themself is Baal. When people go, oh no, Baal is the god of this, and you ask them, where is this God real? The people are going to have to say, oh, well, no. Okay, then. So why are you sitting here arguing? Like if it's cool to understand what each Hebrew word of a false god is, the thing isn't real. People just start worshiping themselves. And atheists believe that. Atheists believe that Christianity, that we just made up God. That's what they think. But notice why they think that. They think that because there is no God. So then you made up God. When the Bible makes it clear that humans do that, humans do make up God. They do create gods out of nowhere, but it's themselves. They're worshiping themselves. So again, harness means to bring under control and direct the force of. It's a force of something, right? So 100%, even when Pharaoh, the Egyptians and Pharaoh was coming after him before he crossed the Red Sea, he goes to God crying, and God says, why criest thou unto me? You just see, Jesus says, gird your loins. The Old Testament, the Proverbs and the Psalms, gird your loins like a man. You constantly see this behavior, this track record of a behavior that God has, even his prophets, in a very subtle way, basically telling you to control your emotions. You need to harness your emotion. You need to control it, right? So I really believe that God wants us to harness, control, right, and to direct the force of our emotions, based on just everything that you see, even in the Old Testament, right? You cannot deny that emotions exist, right? You can't deny that. But yet there's some people, right, because of, negative experiences that they have had with, their emotions, go to the extreme and try to become like emotionless. So I'm not telling anybody to become emotionless, but yet that's what some people hear. Oh, they think emotions are bad. No, they just try to, quit, feeling anything. And that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about don't feel nothing, right? I see this happen many times with pastors who have, gotten close to someone in their church and been hurt because that person, left them or turned on them, which is very common in the brick and mortar buildings today. I would say that a large percentage of ministries, because of such negative emotional experiences, just kind of go that route, right? They just kind of never get close to anyone again because of that outcome, right? But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about why did Jesus weep? What do you mean, why did Jesus weep? We're not telling you not to weep. The Bible says Jesus wept because he was mourning with them that were mourning. Does anybody remember the reason Jesus wept? Anybody?
Before with Lazarus?
Yeah. If you remember, people were crying because Lazarus had passed.
Yeah. He wept because he saw himself in Lazarus.
Yeah, well, that is another spiritual truth, right? But the other side of that is the Bible tells us to mourn with those who mourn. So these people are crying because Lazarus passed away, and Jesus was mourning with them. So there's nothing wrong to mourn with people who are mourning. The Bible tells us to do that. But we're going to get into what we're not supposed to be doing. So let's not talk about fully right now how we use our emotions or how you're not supposed to. We'll just kind of gradually get in there. But that's why Jesus wept. Jesus didn't weep because he was 100% in his emotions, and he was led by his emotions, and he was driven by his emotions. That's not true. He wasn't driven or led. The Bible says he was led by the Spirit, not his flesh. And when I say flesh, I'm talking about the man part of him, which I can't believe why people still ain't figured out the man part of Jesus. It boggles my mind. It's so easy. But, you know, a lot of these pastors, out of fear of being, you know, of being hurt, they just avoid, right? Like having, you know, making real strong relationships with people, you know, with God. So, but God created us with emotions. That's what God created us with, right? And it's wrong to try to become, you know, emotionless. You shouldn't.
Yeah, I've always wondered if God laughs. Like, does he have a comedic side? Like,
Yeah, to look at some of us that were created. He's gotta be laughing.
Well, definitely speak for yourself on that one. I think that's a fair point. But yeah, you definitely want to speak for yourself on that one. I mean, think about it. You say your last name's Perez, you're a Jew, but you slop down chitlins. So I'm sure God's laughing.
Again with the chitlins, chuletas, not chitlins, chuletas. Big difference.
What's the difference?
One's pork, one's chicken.
Oh,
They're both pork.
No, they're both pork.
Oh my God.
Chitlins,
They're not.
chitlins is the poop shoot. So he eats the poop shoot.
Oh, different parts of the pig.
oh my Lord. Y'all need to learn how to harness your emotions. That's what y'all need to do.
Hay mosillas too.
All right. So, let me see. I'm going to try to skip. I don't want to make this 2 months long. I'll just skip some notes that I have right here. Yeah. But anyway, just to drive the point, God is not trying to tell us that we're supposed to be numb. Like, you're not supposed to be like 100% emotionless, like completely numb and not understand that there are people that will be in pain. But, you know, emotions that were given to us, you know, they are to be enjoyed, but there are people that don't just enjoy their emotions. They kind of go all the way to the far right or to the far left, meaning they're all in their emotions or they have none. And so our job is to figure out when emotions are necessary and when they're not. And we'll be going over that, right? But God himself is a God of emotion. I mean, that's, you know, that's very clear. If you just study the Bible. Somebody go to 1 John 4:8. Somebody read that, please.
All right, I got it. 1 John 4:8. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love.
Yeah, so the Bible even tells us that God is love, right? And love is an emotion, right? Now, we know overall love is an action, but it is an emotion. You know, it's not only, you know, that God is love, like he represents the entirety of what love is. Love itself is an emotion, right? But it involves the participation of you for it to be an emotion. You have to be involved in some way, right? Right. And the Bible also says in many different places that the Lord is a jealous God. Now, if you're not careful, you can think that God is jealous in the sense of like envy, right? But that's not true. You know, God is not jealous in the sense of envy. You know, let me skip some of this. Somebody go to Ephesians.
Oh, my favorite is Ephesians.
Yeah, somebody go to Ephesians 4:30. Amy, you said you wanted to read. Can you read Ephesians?
I would love to read.
All right. Well, so, hey, but remember, we take turns. I don't want to hear the same annoying voice every time, like Christian. Where is Christian at? Where's Christian at
I'm
anyway?
just showing off. Okay.
Christian ain't even here. My bad, Christian. I thought you were up.
I thought he was asking.
No, that's okay. I'm really just trying to give Christian a hard time. Yeah. So read Ephesians 4:30 if you don't mind.
And do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption.
Right. So, it says that we can grieve the Holy Spirit, right? The Bible tells us that God can get angry. All of these are emotions, right? Are emotions meant for enjoyment? Well, yeah, but I also believe it is a wrong reaction, right? To just focus on emotions being like an enjoyment. So, oh, there he is right there. Right. So
what was that scripture?
The one we just went over, that was Ephesians 4:30.
Yeah.
Ephesians 4:30. Right. So when we try not to have like any kind of emotional relationship with anyone, because of like, potential damage, right? That is an attempt to deny emotions. Right? Like, I don't want to hang out with this kind of person or that kind of person. Again, I used a pastor as an example. Like, I don't want to get too close to the people in the church, and you're attempting to deny emotion, and it's not healthy, right? It's not healthy. So, to deny that, what's the word I'm looking for? Potential relationship exist, right? But that potential relationship does exist, but it won't exist if I just deny it. Right now, I'm not even going to try to be acquainted with these people. It's unhealthy to be that way, right? And that is working against the framework, if you will, the very makeup we were created with, right? We were created in God's image, and the likeness of God is emotions. So we do have them, right? God gave them to us to be enjoyed. When God created the world, he looked at everything he made and said, behold, it is good. And that tells us in Genesis 1, forgive me, I don't remember the exact verse, but in Genesis 1, he said, it is very good, not just good, very good, right? So emotions were created to be good, right? And I believe emotions are one of the, spices of life, I guess, that really make it worth living in some cases, as long as they're not taken. What are you looking at? As long as they're not taken too far, right? But if there was no love, right, in our life, if there was no joy, what would be the point of being alive, right? Just think of what life would be like if we were to, erase every memory, right, of a positive emotion, right? If you were to take away every memory of something positive happening in your life and kind of snatch that emotion away, right? Like memories of awesome times that we have ever had, it would radically alter our existence. Like it'd be, it'd be odd, like there's so many memories that all of us go back and look at that we've experienced, and there's nothing wrong with those, right? At the same time, even though emotions are intended to be good and God, gave them to us to be enjoyed, many people find that their emotions are out of control. And that's kind of the one I like to hit on. The fact that your emotions have gotten the best of you. That is the focus of even talking about harnessing your emotions. When you hear someone say the phrase, harness your emotions, I really believe that people understand what it is you're saying, but I think they lie and they try to combat what you're saying because they've already gotten to the point that they worship their emotions. I have met hundreds of these kind of people. They love to be in there. Matter of fact, the first 5 to 10 minutes I've been talking, there's probably been at least more than half of you. They're like, yeah, emotions good. But once I start getting to this part right here, when we start looking at how emotions are not good, all of a sudden the room goes from 60 to 10 within a matter of 2 or 3 minutes. Nobody wants to admit that they themselves have turned their emotions into a god. Nobody likes to admit. Again, it's like telling someone to take their quick Christmas tree out of their house. Everybody wants Jesus and the Christmas tree. Hey, Christmas tree is idolatry. How dare you? I'm going to a different church. And where are they going to go? They're going to go to a church where they got 20 Christmas trees. They got 20 Christmas trees, and the pastor, wants a new one every year. And then on their 100th year anniversary, they want to have 100 Christmas trees lit up, all in white galore, decorated with gold and silver. Look, I'm not telling you to get rid of your Christmas tree. What I am telling you that is, if somebody were to tell you to stop putting a Christmas tree up, you would beat them up before you would take that Christmas tree. I'm talking about those kind of emotions, okay? That you can go a little too far, right? Again, even though emotions are intended to be good and God gave them to us to be enjoyed, I do personally find that there are many people that their emotions have gotten out of control. So instead of controlling their emotions are controlling them. And that, again, is unhealthy. So is it good to have emotions? Of course. We just went over a lot of examples. What'd you say, Saba? In Middle Eastern? Oh, I'm Middle Eastern. I love Christmas trees. Yeah. So even though they were intended to be positive, right? Your emotions are not supposed to control you. But in many cases, emotions do control people. And it's a topic that it has to be discussed because it can literally lead your life to spiraling in a downward position, right? So even though emotions, like I said, are a positive thing, it can be the very thing that drive people to depression. And it's real funny when you're talking to someone about emotions and they so much want to hold on to their emotions to the point that it's driving them to be depressed. So then you come and tell them, hey, your emotions are driving you to be depressed. Now you're their enemy all of a sudden because you're trying to point out a truth. And so what do? They use scripture. The Bible says, take the sawdust out of your eye. Take the pole out of your eye and then you can remove the... No. Jesus was bringing that up because there were people, that's all they did is go around pointing your finger. Jesus is not saying don't ever bring something up when someone is doing something wrong. That is not what he's saying. He's talking about people that's all they do is go around pointing at people's sin. Like, in law enforcement, the better your report writing is, the better everything is for you pretty much, except for if you get into a firefight. That report ain't going to do no good at that moment. Now, after the firefight, the report is needed. So it'd be good for you to write one. But if you're only good at writing reports and a firefight breaks out, you're not equal in your skills. And you can easily become unalive because you're so worried about only report writing. Well, the truth is, you carry two types of lead. One that is in a form of a hand, and the other one's in a form of a pew-pew. And both leads need to know how to be operated equally. You can't be good with one and not good in the other. It's going to give you a hard time. Why am I bringing up report writing? Because you could tell someone, hey, your reports need to be better. And they can get into their emotions and say, no, you're not going to tell me that my reports, even though it would benefit them for their reports, all they hear is the negativity in their mind. You're being negative. That's not being negative. That's not you pointing out sin. You understand? That's not someone saying, hey, work on your reports. And you tell them, hey, you know what? Take the pole. Listen here, Sergeant. Take the pole out of your eye before you remove the dust. You're fired. What are you talking about? You don't. People get so much in their emotions, they get into religiosity. Religiosity is a thinking error. Religiosity is not the way you go around manipulating people to do things that you want them to do. That's what religiosity does. It literally is always focused on something that is trying to, it's a person that is, instead of harnessing their emotions, they use their emotions to kind of either get back at someone, or it's just a method to manipulate people around them using the Bible in the wrong way. If your sergeant told you that your report writing is horrible and you need to do better, you don't tell him, stop persecuting me. That's you being in your emotions, and you're attacking the person that's in charge of you. You don't tell him, take the pole out of your own eye before you correct me. Then you can take the sawdust out of my eye, but not before you take the pole. That has nothing to do with it. Matter of fact, the person that's doing the manipulating is the one that's in their emotions, that one. And they don't know how to harness them. And your life will be a lot harder in this world if you don't know how to harness them, right? So we don't want your emotions that are supposed to be used for enjoyment. We don't want to use them so often that happens to be the very thing that drives you to be depressed, right? Which causes all kinds of problems, by the way, right? Being depressed is literally the number one thing that is causing divorce, anger, bitterness, you having hurt feelings, even unaliving yourself. And it all starts because instead of you learning how to harness your emotions, you just ride them all out. We're just going to ride them out, right? So you need to be able to find hope for emotional stability. There has to be some sort of stability there in your emotions. You don't just use them however you want and then try to rationalize why you're using your emotions so much. Like if you're 10 and you didn't get your candy bar, in the line while you're paying for groceries, so you're going to fall down on the ground like you're 8 or 10 years old, kicking and screaming because you didn't get your Snicker bar for the day or something. And there are adults that act this way, and then people are always trying to find out why they're acting this way, right? I feel that the world is, basically hopeless in the area of emotions, right? Because they have no real hope. There's many secular psychologists that just try to make people feel better, by telling them that they shouldn't worry about their lack of emotional stability, right? And it's all about feelings. And, they shouldn't look at themselves as being abnormal, right? Because everyone else is as bad off as they are, so they say it's okay. Everybody else is doing poorly and you're doing poorly and it's okay. And their focus is just to make them feel better. And they're feeding a monster that could possibly lead down a very bad path. And that's why we started that everybody gets a trophy thing. It don't matter what place you got. You can get, if there were 30 teams and somehow your team was so bad, y'all got 31st place, y'all still get a trophy. It's ridiculous. That doesn't teach the kid anything. It doesn't help them grow. Now, there are going to be some kids that are not start believing into that system because they may have good parents at the house. But there are other kids, they don't have good parents at the house. And you start teaching them that's all they got to go on. Now they're expecting this physical gratification from feelings. They want to feel good every time something bad happens, and they don't know how to deal with the hard time when they're young. So they start dealing with hard times when they're in their 20s and 30s, and it can kind of destroy people's lives. All of us should know that. But the truth is, if you don't sit and have a conversation about it, you're not noticing how much of that you actually should know. Right? Like how far feelings can take you. Right. But again, that's a feeble answer to a problem, right? Is to sit down, like a psychologist sit down with you and tell you, hey, everybody has problems. It's a very feeble way to look at it. I don't see it being strong, a strong edified answer, to be honest with you. Right. But it is surprising that, the church, the Christian community, has really not taught very much in the area of being stable, right, towards your emotions. Most of the teaching that comes from the church is more or less dealing with like coping rather than controlling, right? It's just more having more coping skills than controlling, kind of like what James talks about when it says, resist the devil and he will flee. Notice the responsibility where it says, resist the devil. That's your response. Whose responsibility is that? It's not saying, God, resist the devil for me, and then he'll leave. And you have people that pray, God, please get the devil off my back. Well, if you're praying for God to get the devil off your back, how are you speaking to God from a position of authority? The truth is you're not. You're not speaking to him from a position of authority. The Bible says, resist the devil and he will flee. It's talking about you. You resist. So that does play a part with emotions. You are supposed to resist lies in every area, right? Instead of, teaching people how to have victory in their emotions, the most of the churches are teaching them to, roll with the punches, and tells them to learn something rather than focusing on harnessing emotions, learn something from their emotions. Of course, you can learn something from your emotions, but they're still not teaching them how to harness them, right? There may be benefit in, rolling with the punches, right? But nothing that's lasting, right? With God's help, people can not only learn to cope and survive, they can learn to hope and thrive, right? In the area of emotions. Anytime that I'm talking to many people about emotions or the topic of harnessing them, there's, I always ask people, who here is like dealing with depression or fighting against depression, and if they're losing the battle, where are you at? Where are you at? I'll ask, hey, are you, who here is having this issue? And it's to be honest with you, it's not unusual to see close to 75% of the people that I'm talking to, whether it's 20, 50 or 100 or whatever, it wouldn't surprise me if approximately 75% of them stand up, and we're talking about Christians here. There could be, like I said, 50 people in a room, and there's going to be 30 or 40 of them, 30 or 40 of them around that stand up and admit that they're dealing with some sort of depression. And to be honest with you, sometimes it goes higher than 75. Sometimes it's 85%. I've never seen, the whole group of people stand up, but sometimes it's very high. Sometimes it looks like the entire congregation is standing, but I can just kind of slow down and say, okay, well, it's not everybody, but it could be in the 80%, 90 maybe. I mean, I've never sat down and divvied up properly, but with my eyes, I know it's more than 75 or 80 now. I could just tell, but and don't misunderstand me, what it is I'm trying to say. I'm not condemning people that stand up. This is not making fun or mocking the part of the congregation or like in a meeting or around a group of people that stand up. That's not what I'm doing. I understand their struggle and have compassion for them 100%. I always pray for people that are having, that I don't know. It's okay to hold their hands and pray with them. It's all right. It's not a sin to pray. That's in that kind of a setting. That's not the time to say, hey, listen, you need to tell your flesh to shut up. Like that particular place is not the time to tell someone to do that because they don't understand your sense of humor or where you're from. So it's okay to pray, but obviously they're going to learn my viewpoint or how I view it. They're going to learn real quick because I'm going to go over that. But I'm asking for a reason because the majority of the Christians in a room, 80%, whatever the number is, they should not be standing up saying that they're dealing with depression. But again, if you're misunderstanding what I'm saying, you're thinking that I'm pointing the finger and mocking, and that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm trying to show that there is a misunderstanding somewhere, and I don't believe there's enough people trying to do something about it, to be honest. So what everybody tries to do is they try to find people who are poor, right? Try to find people who have, they try to find people who's doing very poorly, whether it's financially and all these things, and they think that if you give them money, that it's going to help, right? And so, we always talk about the red and blue team, right? For the most part, the blue team is always trying to give a handout. The blue team, they're always trying to give a handout all the time. And that doesn't help someone. You need to teach them how to fish. Don't always give people the fish to eat. You need to teach them how to fish. That needs to be the goal. So, and again, this comes down to what we're talking about, right? So, I don't know, that is not the way Jesus intended us, for us to live. I'm saying in a sense of like, obviously you're supposed to let people know when you're feeling depressed. So don't misunderstand. I mean, I'm saying I do know that the intention, like, it's not intended for us to live defeat. That's if you're not understanding what I'm saying, I'll say it that way. We're not supposed to live defeated. So when 80% of Christians that I'm around stand up to say that they feel depressed or they're dealing with depression, for a person that is discipling people, I already know there's an issue with understanding. These people are lacking understanding. And that's why talking about emotions is very crucial, because it's your job to harness them. It's your job to hold the reins on emotions. It's no one else's job. And so if someone's not going over this with you, then you can still be led to believe that it is okay that your emotions control your life. And that's why a lot of people are depressed. That's why a lot of people are sick, because instead of, like we just went over spirit, soul, and body, instead of your soul staring in the mirror of your spirit, because that's who you are, and receiving the truth of peace from the spirit, instead of doing that, your soul is staring at your flesh, and your flesh only reacts to what it sees here. It doesn't understand that you have the power of God living in you. And so if you don't push the power of God living out of your flesh, then you easily can follow your emotions rather than harnessing them and taking charge of the emotions that is in this physical world. And we're not supposed to live in our emotions to the point where they control us and they make you believe that you're supposed to hurt yourself or live in a defeated way, right? As a Christian, we're not supposed to be defeated by our emotions. We're supposed to harness them. And the Bible talks about it in so many ways, right? But the Lord came to deliver, not only our eternal spiritual man, but also our soulish, our emotional personality, right? Jesus paid for that on the cross, right? Mental and emotional health is a part of what Jesus came to bring, right? So there are truths and instructions in God's word that, if followed, excuse me, and applied, I 100%, agree will cause you to live a emotional, stable life, right? So you don't have to have extreme highs and extreme lows. You can live on an even plane, right, of continual joy and peace, right? It doesn't have to be this emotion is in some way taking charge of who you are. Hold on. Right. Can somebody go to Isaiah 26:3? Right. Can somebody go to Isaiah 26:3? Cincy, you got a echo. Somebody go to Isaiah. Cincy, you got to echo. Swipe your phone down. What's going on, Cincy Saba? Hello.
God bless you, brother, and God bless everyone.
Let's see. Isaiah 26. Yeah, Isaiah 26:3.
Thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee.
Yeah, because he trusteth in thee. He says, peace is an emotion, and you can live in the state of perfect emotional peace. Just one scripture right here is 100% pointing to that. But instead of people taking that as, they take this verse, they don't see it as we're already on this side of the cross, meaning that we can do this today. But they allow the circumstances that's happening around them to make them believe that's not going to work, if that makes any sense, right? Because it says that the Lord will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed upon him, because he trusts in him. So you having peace in this world is because your mind is on him and you trust him. And that's what stops your flesh from having this spiral down emotional conflict that you don't know how to control, because you were not taught who you already are in Christ. You haven't been truly taught that. And it has to be at some point that you get sick and tired of being sick and tired of your emotions just kind of destroying your peace that you're supposed to have. And when that does happen, when someone is just literally being tired, just being sick and tired of being sick and tired, when that happens, you will try to find a way to make things better. And like I said earlier, a lot of people point to coping mechanisms. Like, how do you cope with that? Look, there's nothing wrong with starting somewhere. So if that's where you got to start, how to cope with it, that's fine. But to take things a step further and telling yourself the word so you can start living that out, like what we just went over in Isaiah 26:3, it's literally telling us that we're at perfect peace if your mind is stayed upon him. That's how you're at perfect peace. So your flesh does not know how to keep the mind on Christ, but your soul does. And your soul can teach your flesh how to do this. Right? What is it? I got drawings right here. What I got drawings? Somebody go to, okay, I know why they're there. Somebody go to Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28 and read 45 through 48. Who's going? Who's doing it?
I can read.
Okay.
28, which verse?
Deuteronomy 28, 45 through 48.
45, 48 through 48. Okay. Okay, so it's Deuteronomy 28, verse 45 through 48.
Yes.
It says, Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you and pursue and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of the Lord your God to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and a wonder, and on your descendants forever, because you did not serve the Lord your God with joy and gladness of heart, for the abundance of everything. Therefore you shall serve your enemies, whom the Lord will send against you, in hunger, in thirst, in nakedness, and in need of everything. And he will put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. Amen.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm bringing this up, because this passage, believe it or not, is pointing to, hold on, I hate when I move my, Oh man, I moved my notes all over the place. If I can't find it, I'll still know what to say. No worries. Man, what did I do here? Oh, my bad. It took me all the way to my... I don't know why these pictures keep popping up. They're not even supposed to be on this page. Yeah, Deuteronomy 28. Okay, so the reason why I brought this up is because, you know, it's funny. A lot of people don't even either never read this passage or they're not picking it up that emotions are everywhere in the Bible, right? But, you know, in the passage that we went over, it's talking about how God judges people, right? If they do certain things, you know, not correctly, or if they break the law. But, you know, he was talking to the nation of Israel here, right? Telling them that because, you know, they had done certain things wrong. Like he's bringing up all these curses, you know, that he was going to bring judgment upon them because of the result of their sin. So we know for a fact that in the Old Testament, this is why you'll hear people say that the Old Testament, what'd you say, misunderstood? Address. Yeah, that was Deuteronomy 28, 45 through 48. But let me see, where was yeah, but that's why you'll see people say that, or they'll believe that God of the Old Testament was Satan. You'll see it. Like, you'll hear people say this, and it is true that the Old Testament God judged, you know, sin very harshly. That is true, right? In the New Testament, our judgment has been placed upon Jesus. So even though, you know, we don't always do what we should, God does not judge us. And this bothers people when you say it, because they want to believe that God is going to judge you today, right now, because you did something, you know, evil in God's sight. And for some reason, they just don't understand that the God in the Old Testament that we see, he's very harsh on sin. And people say, oh, the Bible says God doesn't change. He changes not. He changes not. And the one thing that I don't know why they keep missing is God, talking about God not changing is not talking about the way they're portraying it. It's talking about his grace, love, and his mercy doesn't change. That's the thing. They always want him to unalive everybody, but they never understand that the thing that he keeps saying that doesn't change is his grace and his mercy. So when they go, yeah, but his wrath don't change, but his grace and mercy don't change. They only see wrath. So because of that, they miss a very key point. And I always say this, that the thing that seems very insignificant when you're reading scripture happens to be the most significant part in the entire verse, or sometimes even chapter that you're reading. You know, so even though, you know, we don't always do what we should, God does not judge us, but we can still benefit from seeing what the Lord judged as wrong conduct, right? So in the verse that we just read, God made an awesome statement. He said that he was bringing judgment upon his people because they did not serve him with joyfulness. He's bringing judgment. This is the reason that he's bringing judgment, is because they didn't serve him with joyfulness and gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things he had given them. Why is it when you hear people talk about sin and God's judgment, how come they don't ever bring this up? Does anybody know why? You know why they don't bring this up right here? Because it confuses them. That's why. Because they don't see that when someone is not in joyfulness or gladness, it's hard for them to see that being a sin when you're not acting that out. It's hard. They only see sin as like a physical action, not as a thought, not as an emotion. They don't see that. They only see sin as you breaking laws in the sense of unaliving or stealing or committing adultery. That's all they see. So if that's all they see, then you're missing a part. You're missing a huge part, because that's the Moses part. Right? Moses gave the law, but grace and truth came through Christ. So you see half of it, but how come you don't see the other half? That's a huge problem today, huge. But he literally said that he was bringing judgment upon his people because they didn't serve him with joyfulness, gladness of heart, for the abundance of all the things he had given them. That's why he brought judgment, right? So most people read it and say, but this passage shows that God not only hated sin, he hated negative emotions. It was because his people had not served him with their emotions that he was bringing judgment upon them, right? So very few people see emotions in that light. Most people look at emotions as being optional. They would like to have positive emotions, but they don't feel responsible for producing them. Now, how does that make any sense? Why is it that you want to have positive emotions, but at the same time, you don't feel that you're responsible for producing them? So they pray to God again and again and again. And when people hear this, they say, well, you're supposed to pray to God. Yes, you're supposed to pray to God. But if you find yourself constantly praying and asking God for the same things, that means you never believed it the first time you prayed. That's why you're praying again. After we're done with this, harnessing emotions, we might talk about prayer a little bit more, because I notice it being a very misunderstood thing, right? Most people are scared to tell someone you pray too much about the same thing. They're scared to say that because they have been taught that you're supposed to pray to God without ceasing, pray without ceasing, pray all the time. But because they don't know what that is, they just religiously continue to what they call pray, when really what they're doing is they're in their emotions that God is not taking their responsibility away. That is a huge problem. People do not feel that they should be responsible for producing positive emotions. It is 100% your responsibility. God is not going to take Satan off your shoulder. That's what people pray for. Take Satan off my shoulder. Can you get Satan off my... No. The Bible says, resist the devil and he will flee. It is your responsibility to resist, not anybody else's, not God's, not anyone else's, right? I don't know anyone who gets up in the morning and prays, oh God, help me to have a bad day. I don't know anyone who gets up and prays like that, you know? Lord, I want to be bummed out and depressed to the max. Is there a way you could bum me out? Can you max me out on depression today, Lord? I don't know anyone that prays like that. You know, no one desires that. Right? Yet, when certain things happen and, they begin to feel that way, they don't feel guilty. They don't feel they have done anything wrong. Instead, they feel justified, right? Why is it that when people wake up and they don't pray to God to have a bad day, but yet they feel that way, and because they feel that way, they don't feel like they're doing anything wrong for feeling the opposite direction that God is telling us how we're supposed to see things, right? Count it all joy, fear not, let your heart not be troubled. No. They wake up and say, fear is good. I should let my heart be troubled today. Well, it's because people are not recognizing that your emotions play a key role on where you are in life, not just mentally, but physically where you are. You know, you just ask people, say, hey, where are you at? Oh, well, I'm here, there, wherever. So, well, wherever you are, stand up and look at your feet. Stand up and look down and look at your feet. Do you like where your feet are? Do you know right now There's only, between YouTube and TikTok, there's only maybe 80 people. But if I was to ask everybody, just go ahead and stand up. Stand up where you're at. Go ahead. If you can stand up where you're at. Put your feet together. I'm being serious. Stand up, put your feet together, and look down. Look at the geographical location. If I was trying to find you on a grid and you were to give me a 4, 6, or 8 grid, right, to somehow find where you were, and I was to make it to where you were at, and I was to ask you, hey, are you happy where your feet are, where you're standing right now? Are you happy? There's a lot of people that's going to say, no, I'm not happy right here. But you have to remember that the way that you think is what puts you where you are. So if you don't like where you are in life, it's because of your stinking thinking. And the only way to start changing that is to start trying to find out where emotionally are you probably wrong about how you're looking at things. That's a good place to start. And that's why we're talking about harnessing your emotions. But when people wake up, they don't say to themselves, Lord, max me today, which is with as much guilt and shame and depression as you can. They're not asking that, but yet they're living it. Do you understand? I want to make sure you understand what I'm saying. They're not praying to God to give that to them, but yet that's what they're accepting. I know a lot of this may seem alienated, right? And it does seem that way, right? That it's coming from like a foreign place. The question, the way that I'm bringing it to you. But what I'm trying to do is show you that why is it if you commit a sin like lying or stealing, why is it when you do that, you're so quick to say, oh man, I shouldn't have done that? You know why? Because that part of the law was given by Moses, which is the fruit of the sin, right? The harvest of something that was already planted in you, and you watered it. And finally, here's the fruit. Here's the produce of what? Of your emotions, your thoughts, that you already watered this fruit that came out, which we're calling sin. But when it comes to the thought process, when Jesus said, Moses said that if you commit adultery, you sin. And Jesus said, but I say, even if you think it. So you were supposed to be in control of your thoughts. 100%. No one has any control over your thoughts. You do. Every day, every few seconds of the day, you are having questions and thoughts coming to you. And how you react to those questions or thoughts are your fault. It's nobody else's fault. It's your fault how you're reacting. It's your fault how you are giving feedback back to these thoughts and questions that you're having. Right? So a small example of that could be you being in line somewhere at a store, McDonald's, or I don't know, a food place. We'll use that as an example. And you're about to be late for work. There's 2 people in line, and you know if you can hurry up and get in there and get your food, you'll make it with 5 minutes. You have time, but there's a chance that you could be late, is what I'm saying. You're right there at that line. And then somebody cuts in front of you, literally right in front of you. Boop. Immediately, your flesh is going to say, I know this dude just did not cut in front of me. And if you don't know how to combat that, you're about to have a bad day. So you can have negative self-talk, which is, you know what? I'm not going to slap him in the back of his head, but I am going to tap him on the shoulder and tell him he needs to get in the back. That might work, or he just might duke you one in the mouth. Now what? Now you got an option to duke him back, call the cops, which all that's leading to you being late to work. Or you could have started this off with positive self-talk instead of negative self-talk. Positive self-talk is, well, maybe he's already late. It's not about you taking everything to court. You don't got to take everything to court and say to yourself, Hold on a second. Let's talk about, everything don't have to go to court. Because right now we're talking about harnessing emotion. You can harness your emotions. You can pull the rein on your emotions, right? Let's just say you got a horse. Let's just say you got a horse and your horse's name is emotions. Let me tell you something. If you don't learn how to harness emotions are going to take off sprinting and you're going to be holding on for dear life. That's what's going to happen. I'm not the best horse rider. Matter of fact, it's been a few years since I actually been on a horse, but I learned at a young age that if I turn that head as hard as I can in one direction or the other, that sucker can't take off sprinting. Now, he may buck me off. That's fine. I'll fall off the darn horse. But you ain't going to buck me off going 50 miles an hour, okay? I'd rather get bucked off and fall on my side or head or whatever than him sprinting and somehow I bounce off his bare back and slam into a tree at 50 miles an hour, But I'm saying emotions, that's how you have to picture it. You have to picture your emotions as a horse, and you have to harness your emotions. Now, I want you to understand the horse's name is emotions, okay? That's the name of this horse, emotions. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but if you want to really control a horse, when it's laying down, I'm not telling you to do this to a grown horse. Start with the younger one. But if you sit on that horse's head, you can stop that horse from getting off the ground. I used to do it all the time when I was little. And of course, I've been hit in the head by a horse's head. And I thought I was very hard-headed. I used to tell my grandpa, I thought you said I was hard-headed, and I was there a couple of times, and he had some friends. They had some horses. I went over there. It wasn't his best friend, but they had horses. And I wanted to go over there, and the guy that owned them said, hey, go over there and sit on that horse's head. I might have been 10, I think. He's like, sit on it. I was like, sit on the horse's head. He goes, yeah, he'll stop him. Well, I trust him. I trust these two geezers, man. So I run over there and I sit, and I'm like, oh, crap. And I noticed the horse couldn't get up. This is the first time I seen it. I didn't really think about it, 10. But I learned that day that a horse, 99% of them, they have to swing their head in order to get up off the ground. They need that momentum. So if they're not able to swing their head, now let me just say this. I'm not telling anyone, I don't want anyone to come back and say, well, my family member was unalive because Trot said to go sit on a horse's head. No, that's not what I'm telling you to do. I want to make that very clear. What I am saying, though, if you get the sissy out of you and you go try this, you can stop that horse from getting up. Now, I will say this. If the horse is wild or it hasn't been broken in, you're going to get hurt when you when you finally decide to get off this horse. You might get hurt. So I wouldn't try it. But if you go to someone that has a very mature horse, the horse may not try to kick you or anything, and you get off of it. But what I am telling you is a fact. And if you can understand that your emotions is a horse, if you can just picture that, it can help show you what I'm saying, right? And there's too many people that they will allow their emotions to take charge in the writing. You shouldn't allow your emotions to take charge. You're writing emotions. Emotions should not be writing you. You get what I'm saying? Emotions should not be on top of you saying, come on, boy, let's go. Woo-hoo! And now emotions is taking you everywhere. So you have allowed emotions to run your life. Is that why God gave us emotions? What do you say? That mature horse will get up and sit on your head. Yeah, it's possible. It might, so don't try this at home. But I'm telling you the truth that without the horse swinging its head up, it can't get off the ground, right? My bucking bulls have plenty of emotions. I bet they do. Yeah, let's not name a bull emotions. We're gonna be deep, boy. We start doing that. Let me move this. Yeah, so the truth is nobody desires when they get up. No one desires. Lord, I want to be depressed today, but yet they do it. And yet they don't even feel bad that they're allowing themselves to believe these lies. They don't feel bad at all. And I see that being a huge problem, right? And not feeling guilty. You feel guilty if you steal something. You feel guilty if you're a smart butt. You feel guilty for that. But if your emotions kick your butt all day with depression and all this, you don't feel guilty. You feel as though if God wants those emotions to stop, he'll make them stop. Well, that's funny. Next time you're going to take a candy bar from Walmart, let's see if God stops you. Do you think he's going to stop you, or do you have a choice? If you have a choice to steal, then you have a choice on what feeling you're allowing to be used at any given day, no matter how bad the circumstances are. So going back to the line, the guy cuts in front of you and you have negative self-talk, which is, I know this dude just did, and I swear I'll smack this dude a good one. And let's say you do smack him. You go to jail. Now, the heck with being late, you're fired. Now you're in jail. Now you got tickets to pay. Now you got court costs. Now you lose your car. Hopefully not your house. But you can't allow emotions to run your life. You're not a kid anymore. Take your thumb out of your nose. Stop yelling at everybody. Stop allowing your emotions to mistreat people all the time. Listen, I say this all the time. I got a younger brother. I can't wait to give him. I give him the business every chance I can. He'll get mad at me. Why are you talking to me like that? I don't know, because I can, But I'm giving him a hard time. That's my little brother. If I ever seen anyone acting crazy to him, that's when I'm gonna have to harness my emotions. If you want me to be real, if someone started talking crazy to my little brother, I'm gonna be like, okay, we needs to go. But to be clear, I'm gonna have positive self-talk. I'm not gonna allow my emotions, even though they're tempting for me to tell whoever this person is, hey, bro, get out of here. I am gonna have a positive self-conversation, which is, hey, bro, let's just get out of here. Let's go get something to eat. I don't care what I got to use. I'm going to talk positively about the situation. I'm going to tell my brother, hey, bro, to be honest with you, I don't think it's worth whatever is going on with this person. I want to sleep in my bed tonight, And then somebody could say, oh, you're scared. No, brother, I've never been. There's no incident. There's no one in my life that could come to, he's scared about stuff. No, they'll tell you the complete opposite. That dude ain't never been scared of nothing. So I'm not all of a sudden being scared. No, I'm just wiser. I've learned that emotions are not supposed to control my life. So I'm not going to allow them to control my life. I am going to ride emotions. I'm going to take the reins, and I'm going to tell emotions what to do, not the other way around. I'm not gonna let emotions get on my back and put a bit in my mouth and start telling me what I need to be doing. But sadly, a lot of people do that. And if you're one of those people, you need to keep coming for the next couple of weeks until we're done talking about harnessing emotions, to be honest with you, right? But these people that are looking in the mirror and telling themselves, Lord, please bless me today with as much guilt and depression as you can. Please, Lord, I really, in Jesus' name, amen. These people that are, doing this, not only are they not feeling like they're not doing anything wrong, they feel justified about it, right? When people come, like if someone was to ask me, I don't want to say I do counseling, but I have. But like if somebody comes up to me and they're just wanting help in a certain area, right? And, I immediately start telling them, or better yet, let me say it this way. When I start telling them like what God desires for them, they immediately respond with, but look at what happened to me. You hear this a lot, but you don't understand. You don't understand what happened. They start telling me about like their negative experiences. What? They 100% start focusing on, circumstances, like this hard time that's happened in their life, and they say, that's why I'm justified. Like, I'm justified because of this bad thing, right? How else can I feel is what they'll say, because they're focused on emotions and feelings. They're not understanding that their feelings are negative and bad the way that they're using them at the moment, right? So most people believe that if something, negative happens, that there must be a negative emotion to correspond with it. That's just how a lot of people view it. They see emotions as simply a response, not a choice. So most people don't believe they have a choice. They believe that the way that they're responding to this negative circumstance, they believe that their emotion corresponds with that, right? So it's someone did something bad to me, and the normal response is anger. Automatic, without even questioning it, right? That's kind of like saying, man, look, that bank is right there, and the back wall is blown out. The negative, the positive, proper response for that is to go in there and take out money. Why is it most people don't see that way? See, because they see that stealing is wrong, right? Because the 10 Commandments, they point out the fruit that hang on the tree. That's what they point out. That means that the meditating on the wrong thing, which is the seed, watering the wrong thought, it produces a certain fruit. But because of the law, we know that it's wrong to steal. We know that it's wrong to unalive. We know, we've been hearing it since we're little. But when Jesus came, he said, even if you think it. So that means that thoughts can be wrong. And it's not just thoughts based on the law. It's not if you're thinking about only the 10 Commandments. Like, if you're thinking about breaking one of them, you've sinned. No, my friend, a negative emotion is a sin in itself. Jesus said, even if you think it, you don't have to act it out. Nobody has to see the fruit of the sin. God sees the heart. He sees it. So to these type of people, right, that are looking at themselves in a mirror every morning and saying to themselves, hey, Lord, max me out today with depression. First of all, they're not asking God to do that. They just choose to be depressed. They choose to have these negative thoughts and emotions by choice. To them, emotions are, oh man, they're not something that they have any authority or control over. We'll just put it that way. A lot of people don't believe that they have authority or control over their emotions, right? Because of that, they have no responsibility for them. So when you hear people say, you made me mad, I always go, really? I made you mad? What did I say? Well, you say that I can't do this right here. I'm like, yeah, that is what I said. I said, you can't do that. I'm your boss. Well, you can't do that. Well, that makes me mad. Okay, so I made you mad? They are 1,000% standing 10 toes down that I made them mad. That's a sad place to be in. It's something that I notice very quickly. When I see someone blaming other people for their own emotions, I am dealing with a child. I don't care if they're 50. I don't care how old they are. I am dealing with a child right now. They still haven't learned that they are in control of what emotions you utilize. If someone presents you with something and it makes you upset, where is the negative and positive self-talk line? Where's that line at? So something presents itself to you. It made you mad or sad. Why is it that the person doesn't know how to say, oh, wait a minute, hey, that's nobody's fault. It's really my own fault because I came in late the other day. Oh, I see why he's making me do this because everybody else was on time this week. I wasn't. So instead of having a proper conversation with yourself, they jump to their emotions because their emotions are like, oh man, that's messed up. I don't want to do that. They obey emotions and they let emotions take off. So what happens? Man, I don't want to do that. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I don't want to do that. Hey man, we need to talk. I know you're my boss, bro, but I don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Well, you're going to do that or you're fired. You know what? I'm out of here then. I don't nobody want to work here anyway. They 100% allowed emotions to hop on their back. Remember, emotions is a horse. Emotions took the bit out of its mouth, put it in the man's mouth and said, come on, boy, let's go. And that person, boy or girl, allowed the horse to take control. Now, to look at it in a different sense, in real life, if the physical horse, the name of that horse was emotions, and emotions just took off, meaning on its own feelings, it's doing whatever it wants. Your job as a rider is not supposed to just clench down with your legs, hold the mane on the horse, and hold on for dear life. Sooner or later, you're going to be hanging off the side of that horse. And then sooner or later after that, you're going to be falling off or getting stepped on. So it's not okay to let that horse, excuse me, man, have its way with you. Right. And again, in this case, we're talking about your emotions because that's exactly what's going to happen. Right. Emotions are just, to them, emotions are just something that happens. Right. That's the current thinking, especially of today in 2024. We're about to be in 2025. Right now, people, even though they're sitting on emotions is spring the whole time. And people are just holding on for dear life. Now, if you don't have to listen, just because people own horses don't mean they're horse experts, but if you were to own a horse, look, it's just like any other animal. You got to take care of it or they're going to get sick. They could become unalived. Obviously, you have to feed it. You got to groom a horse just like you groom a dog. There's only two kinds of dogs to have, okay? And you're going to choose one of the two monsters. You're either going to choose a lot of hair, right? Like, because a lot of dogs, they shed. So you're either going to deal with shedding or grooming. There are dogs that they don't shed. But if you don't groom them, their hair will get knots real close to the skin, and when they move, it pulls and it hurts. So you're going to do one or the other. You're either going to deal with all the hair shedding, which is a lot of sweeping, a lot of mopping, a lot of lint rollers. You're either going to deal with that, and it doesn't mean you don't groom your dog, because if you groom it and shampoo it and try to take care of it as much as you can, it can kind of limit how much hair is going to be in your house if you allow your dog to come in your house. Now, if it's an outside dog, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you got an inside dog that doesn't shed, then you have to groom. If not, your dog is going to be very sad, to be honest with you. They're going to be in pain a lot because of them knots that they're going to start getting. Let me see. So the current day that we're in, right, people are just more focused on everything else in life, and emotions just kind of happen. So if they get mad, that's natural. They don't question whether they do not question whether they should have gotten mad, slapped this person, said these crazy negative things. They don't question that. You know why? Because they were mad. Man, I'm telling you, it's wild. It's like, and if an emotion happens, you cause it. It's your fault. I have no control over that. I mean, it's crazy. It is 100% bonkers. And you have people who are saved today, and they act just like the world. You know why? Because no one taught them that sin is not just whenever the fruit of what you're doing is out. It's the emotions and stuff that you're not controlling, So, today, that's how a lot of people think, right? Yet they can't be true to God. Or better yet, I'll put it this way, right? So, when we were talking about God putting the nation of Israel when he brought judgment to them in Deuteronomy, what we read earlier, right? It says it's because they did not serve him with their emotions. It would be unjust for God to hold us accountable in an area over which we had no control. So if we had no control over our emotions, then God would not be holding Israel accountable for their emotions. It was because they lacked joy in their heart. It's because they weren't looking at God with a joyful heart, and he punished them. So, what did I say? Collins, Rhonda, Kinley, can we pray for my papa? He is battling. Hey, Kinley, put go to this video or one of my other videos. Put your prayer request in there, and know that a prayer will be made for what you're asking for. Okay, so put a prayer bring that request, put it in one of the comments of one of the videos that I have, and just throw a reminder out there. Say, hey, I'm the one that came on, and there a prayer. More than one person obviously will. There's probably people that are here already praying for that, so I don't have a problem. People requesting a prayer. I want to continue my teaching, but I can promise you this: you asking someone to pray with someone in your family, God already heard you praying right now. Just the fact that you're even asked. I want to make sure that you know that is true and feel comforted that God is not waiting for someone to stop what they're doing to pray. Your heart alone is already calling a prayer towards God, and you just need to believe in that. But that doesn't mean that it won't be prayed on this end. Just go to one of my videos, go in there, and just put that request, because almost, if not every day, there are some that I may not get to in a day, because we're starting to get a lot more comments than we have in the past. But I need you to know that if you're asking someone to pray for a family member, God hears you in conversation, right? So the ritual of prayer is not what brings things to pass. It's your heart. So the fact that you even threw that out there, you were already heard. But that doesn't mean not to make a comment and put that prayer request in there, and I guarantee you it'll happen. So, all right. Hopefully you have a good day. She'll have a great day because her prayer was already heard. All right. Let's go. Somebody go to John 14:1 and read it. Oh, I already knew some of y'all were going to be praying. So I'm not, our problem and descaled is not lack of prayer. We pray a lot. So if we're going to have an issue, it ain't going to be that. People don't hear the, excuse me. People don't hear the actual prayer like happen on the live, and people get discouraged. And I'm like, well, you get discouraged. That's why we're talking about harnessing your emotions. Harness your emotions, okay? What you feel is not what God is feeling, What you feel is not what God is feeling. All right, so I need somebody to read John 14:1. Who's got it?
I got it.
Okay.
Got it, brother. We all got it.
Yeah, whoever wants to do it, do it.
Yeah, just start reading. Whoever's got it.
Let not your heart be troubled. We believe in God. Believe also in me.
Right. So this was on the very night before Jesus' crucifixion. He spoke, to his disciples and told them to let their hearts, or not let their hearts be troubled. If I was to act this way, people would say, oh man, something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with you. This is how you know who doesn't know how to harness their emotions. Because they're sad of a certain situation, and because you're not, something's wrong with you. They think that their emotion of sadness and all this is proper. Jesus said, right before he's getting crucified, he said, let your heart not be troubled. So is Jesus lying, or is he telling the truth on how they're supposed to behave?
Telling the truth.
He's telling the truth. The problem is today, people are so in their emotions, they think it's supposed to be a normal response. It is a normal response for your flesh, but your spirit is not troubled ever. It's not ever troubled. That's why he's telling them not to let their heart be troubled, because we are supposed to be acting out who we are in the spirit, not who we are in the flesh, right? We just went over spirit, soul, and body for 2 months. And we constantly are pointing out the difference between the flesh and the spirit, constantly. And the reason why we're constantly pointing out the differences between your spirit and your flesh is because your flesh is not supposed to rule your life. Your emotions, again, if we're picturing the horse, right? Your horse name is emotions. Emotions is not supposed to be riding you, telling you what to do, how to do it, what to say, how to say it. No, you are sitting on the horse. You are telling emotions when to be used, when not to be used, how to be used. It doesn't tell you, right? So, but he told them, let your heart not be troubled right before his crucifixion. You know, again, it wasn't a suggestion. It was a command. Let not your heart be troubled. He didn't say, guys, if you're strong enough, don't have a troubled heart if you're strong enough. That's not what he said. He said, let not. So, you know, Jesus wasn't speaking to these men, you know, in a time of prosperity and peace, like when, you know, everything was going great. Most people feel that when you know, everything is going along fine, they should be praising God and operating in joy and peace, right? When a negative thing comes, they act as though they have like some responsibility for their emotions. But when big problems come, they think that, you know, that because it's a big issue that they're relieved from the duty of being in control, right? That the responsibility for their emotions doesn't matter anymore, right? Well, no one can be expected to overcome in the situation that I'm in. Like, if anybody was in this situation, they would fall apart, just like I'm falling apart right now. That people will talk to themselves like this. They literally rationalize, how can I get away by allowing emotions to be in charge this time? They just rationalize it. They don't feel sorry for it. They're not guilty that they're being ran over by emotions. They don't feel bad for it at all. Now, if they were to go steal something or hit somebody in a very short period of time, they'll feel bad. But when it comes to emotions, they can have whatever emotion they want. And how they react on those emotions don't matter, because it's a hard time. And it's okay to be this way, right? You know, the Lord was talking to his disciples just before they would face a tremendous trial, which was the crucifixion. He knew that, you know, they were going to experience something that was great, right, than they've ever had to deal with before, because he's explained to them many times that he was going to be unalived and all these things. And they acted like they didn't understand what he was saying. I believe for the most part, the majority didn't fully understand, but I will always say that John had an idea of what Jesus was saying. But he knew that they were going to see, what they considered, their whole life. Him being sacrificed, them having to see that, live through that, he just knew that they were about to go through something that was going to be really hard. But yet, this is how he spoke to them, to let your heart not be troubled, meaning don't allow your flesh to overwhelm you with your emotions and you be moved by that. You know, he knew that they weren't going to understand what was happening to them, you know, in that time, but he did tell them to not let their heart be troubled, right? So, you know, Jesus would be unjust. Let's be honest here. He would be unjust to give someone a command like that if that individual did not have the power to do what he said. So if he said, let your heart not be troubled, one thing that Jesus is pointing out is you have a responsibility here. You are in control of whether or not your heart is in trouble, that your heart is or is not in trouble. You have that control. But he would be unjust if they didn't have control to give such a command. So again, what I'm pointing out is you have control over your emotions. And your job right now, more than ever as a believer, is to learn how to harness those emotions, right? So, guys, I'll tell you what, it's already 1:40. It's already 1:40. Let's see. All right. Hey, guys, we're going to have to call it quits. Jennifer, Jennifer's not here anymore. Does anybody got anything, a question maybe, or anything that you want to say on anything I went over today?
Hey, Trot.
What's going on? Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey. So I was listening to everything you're talking about. I love the analogy of the horse being the emotions. And just wanted to throw out there, imagine the horse's name that you're writing is emotion, and that emotion that you're writing is self-control. And we know that self-control is a fruit of the spirit. And we know that horses will eat fruit. So self-control can be a way to move that horse into a position to where it would consume more fruit of the spirit. So if you're leading with one of the fruits of the spirit, you can then lead it to eat more fruits of the spirit, and then you give birth to more of those spiritual fruits as well.
Yeah, and we're going to be getting into how to transition from negative thoughts to positive ones, right? So like I said, we're going to be talking about this for a week or two, maybe 3. I don't want you to think that I'm only pointing out what the horse is not supposed to be. Clearly, I'm going to be getting into what the horse is supposed to be based on spirit, soul, and body. So how much of spirit, soul, and body have you listened to, City?
You know what? I am so new to everything that's going on, but I've learned so much of everything that you've spoken about just through my own. I spent 2 years in isolation with the Lord. Literally no friends, like nobody except my church and Jesus. And a lot of the revelation that you've brought up is stuff that I'm like, thank you for the confirmation. Like, this is all awesome. So thank you. I'm enjoying this so much.
Yeah. So my question was, how much of spirit, soul, and body have you listened to?
I just very little. I only got to the very last lesson and a half that you had of spirit, soul, and body.
Yeah, well, I definitely would recommend going and listening from the beginning because you'll kind of understand like the way I transition, right? So what I talked about today, that part may have, like I may be done with a very specific part. I may be done with the very specific part, but I'm not leaving it open-ended on purpose. Like, we're going to continue where I left off tomorrow, right? Just so you know, right? Because I could tell you were like, I wonder why he's not bringing it back to the horse being good fruit. Well, it's because we're not there yet.
Okay, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I totally figured that was probably what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I was just like excited about what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was just making sure you understood that when I'm done going over harnessing emotions, there won't be anything left out. So, but I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah, of course.
I love it, Trot. Thank you so much for having me up here too.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody got anything else? Anybody want to say something or got a question about what we went over? Anybody? Let's see.
Just have a wonderful day, everyone, and God bless you all.
Absolutely. Let me see. Cincy, you got anything to say, or do you want to say something before we hop off?
God bless you all, brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. Jessica Newberry, what's up?
God bless you all.
Nothing. Hey, I sent you a message. Did you have a chance to look at it?
Not yet, I guess. I'll look at it like as soon as I hop off.
All right, awesome. Thanks.
Okay,
all right,
sweet.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.
All right. Let's see. Christian, what you got?
Got my second one.
All right, Nina, what's up?
I have a question that has nothing to do with this. I just got a dog question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm fostering a dog that is a shepherd, and it's 1 year old. This dog is like absolutely cat. How do you say that? Aggressive. Do you have any tips for me?
Your dog's aggressive? How old is it?
It's cat aggressive. It's a foster dog.
Oh, cat aggressive. Oof.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I'm not a dog whisperer at all, but I don't understand it. There are some dogs that are cat aggressive, and there's other ones that are not. And I got to be honest with you. I don't know what the proper thing to do about that is. I've heard many suggestions. I've even heard try to get them to, kind of slowly introduce your dog to the cat. And from what I've seen, it's very time consuming, but you can get your dog used to being around cats. I just don't recall the method, man. I think the person that asked for that, and I'm sure you know who it is. It's the Caesar Malone. He's like the dog whisperer. I would definitely try to find his channel. He might have one on YouTube, and try to see how you deal with aggressive dogs or dogs that are aggressive towards cats. And I remember it was either him or somebody else talking about it, and I knew it had something to do with introducing the dog slowly to the cat. But man, I don't remember what they said, to be honest with you.
The problem is the dogs in the house. I have 2 cats in the house, and even when I walk it outside, it sees a cat, and it's perfectly good walking until it sees a cat.
Yeah. I have 2 dogs. We have 1 cat. Yeah. And that cat catches. Cincy, you got an echo. We have 1 cat. And that cat catches. But anyway, we got 2 dogs, 1 cat, and the inside dog can't stand the cat. Always wants to chase it. Just acts very aggressive. The outside dog really doesn't care, but the outside dog is starting to pick up on the inside dog's behavior. So sometimes the outside dog chases the cat. Sometimes it doesn't. It's actually kind of weird. But like I said, the cat kind of lives up high. I don't know if that makes any sense, but the cat, it has several trees that it uses to get up on the house, and I feed the cat not really on the roof of the house, but we have an awning, and the cat eats up there, and the dogs eat on the ground. And I just do that just to kind of keep them away from the cat, leave her, because they'll eat the cat's food and everything. So, yeah, but that's what so the cat lives and it's got its own place. It lives in the barn. And the dogs, any chance they get, if they go to the barn, they try to sniff the cat out. And bark at it, but it's really the inside dog that kind of gives that cat a hard time. But, she catches them. I done caught all kinds of little critters in her mouth. So she does a fairly good job at hunting down. She's like our little lioness on the property. So, but yeah, look up Caesar Malone. He's a dog whisperer. I guarantee you he knows exactly what you have to do. I just don't know how time consuming that it'll be, but
yeah, someone left me the dog for a month, so
yeah. So if anybody's got any pointers, do me a favor. If you're not following Nina, follow her, and please hit her up in the comments and maybe give her some options of what she can do. That'd be awesome. Breezy, what you got, homeboy? Okay, Breezy not here, or he got bad reception. Saba.
God bless you, brother. I really don't have anything, to say apart from just, it's a practice, right? Emotions, controlling the emotion, it's all about the practice, right? The more we put ourselves in those situations, it becomes better by practice.
Yeah,
Can we say that
yeah, no, it's definitely practice, right? But before you practice something, you first have to know it's a thing, right? Like I said, there are people, I'm telling you, they wake up, they're already depressed. They wake up already feeling this way. They're already feeling guilty about things, just very beat up. And it looks like they woke up and instead of praying to God about something positive, they prayed to be maxed out in guilt. Lord, I just want to be maxed out in depression today. They act like that's what they prayed for because that's exactly what they got. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
But they don't feel guilty of feeling that way or being that. They don't feel guilty again, like if they had no responsibility that they are in control of harnessing their own emotions. So sometimes a person has to be shown that you are in control of that. So first that person has to know that they're in control of those things. Once you can show them you are 100% in control of that, then you can start, working that out one day at a time. But first a person, it's crazy, but I'm telling you, people would be surprised how many people look at me like they have no idea what I'm trying to tell them. And there was probably here some today that's like, wow, I didn't actually realize that I was actually in control of that. There's people that just, because the law is thou shalt not unalive, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not, have any other gods before me. They look at all sin as though it's only the outside. That's why Jesus came and brought that main truth back, which is Moses said, that basically what Jesus said is, Moses said, when you physically act out an action of sin, that's when you sin. And Jesus said, nope, you sinned as soon as you started thinking about it. He brings it all the way back, meaning that thoughts, you are in control of your thoughts. And that's why when we went over what we read in Deuteronomy is the reason that he's telling them that he's judging them. And it all has to do is because they were not looking at him with joy and praise, basically. And again, God would not be justified to punish someone for not having good emotions. He wouldn't be justified to punish them for not having good emotions unless they were able to control that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yes, to answer your question, and remember, anytime someone asks a question, I just take that as an opportunity to go a little bit further with the person's question. So yes, I understand fully that I could have gave you a 5-second answer, but that's just not how I wrote. So there's always multiple people here, and I don't believe in just one sentence answers. I believe that there's always going to be someone that's not either understanding the answer or the question, or when I give a one sentence answer, they may have understood the question, but they're not understanding the answer. So I'm long-winded on purpose, right? That's where patience comes in. It's taken me a while to be very patient, but I'm overall I'm pretty good when it comes to patience, except for when Christian is smacking his gum. I'm starting to lose patience for that. But I'll harness my emotions and I'll be nice. What?
So can we say also when we want to, for example, pray for healing, right? So we want to pray, for example, I'm just going to give an random example, like someone has a knee pain, right? So we want to pray for that person. Can we say it comes with the thought, I'm going to think about the pain of that person in that area, like some sort of imagination, right? Like imagining that pain is gone, or I'm trying to grab that pain and taking it out of that person's leg with the power of the Holy Spirit that's within us.
Yeah.
Can we say that it happens also with the thoughts?
Absolutely. The reason that the flood happened is because it says that the people's imagination was evil continuously. So I always ask people, when is the last time that you imagined yourself putting your hands on a person and them becoming healed? Over 95% of Christians, they don't think that way. They don't think that just like we're supposed to meditate on the word so we can understand the word, for some reason, it doesn't cross their mind that instead of using your imagination on how to memorize, a song or a movie, instead of using your imagination of the things in the world, why are you not using your imagination on the things of God? So there's nothing wrong with you closing your eyes and imagining you putting your hands on someone and them receiving a healing. Are you imagining yourself ministering to people the gospel and people's lives being changed? I meditated on those kind of things a lot. I imagine myself matter of fact, what we're doing here, I imagined this, over 10 years ago. I imagined myself speaking to a big group of people and ministering to them the love of God and people's lives being changed. But I didn't do it before I imagined it. I imagined myself doing it. Like, for instance, if we're going to build a house, right? If you show up at a house where they're putting, the foundation's already done and they're starting to put the lower boards on the ground and they start building the skeleton of the house, but it starts on the foundation. They'll start putting 2x4s on the floor, and before you know it, you'll start seeing boards popping up. And then some people make a whole wall and push it up, but they are attaching it to the ground. So when the skeleton of the house is almost done, I'm telling you, if you ain't never done this, you need to do it. Go to a construction site where a house, just the skeleton is up, and just go walk up there, and of course, don't just rudely do it. Walk up there and just say, hey, I kind of like the blueprint. I'll tell you exactly what I told a few of them. I said, hey, do you mind if I walk in this house? I do like the blueprint, but I really just want to walk around inside that house as long as some don't follow me. You might have a guy say, hey, man, the owner guy's not here. Can you wait? Fine. That's fine. But what I'm saying is find one that will allow you just to walk through it. And when you're doing it, start using your imagination. And I'm not talking about the imagination of the lava floor like you're a kid and you're just having fun. No, you need to start knowing how to use your imagination when it comes to the things of the Lord. But a good way to do it is to kind of put yourself back in an area where you know how to use your imagination again, right? And so walk through the house and say to yourself, okay, if this was my house, man, this would be the living room. And picture yourself in that living room. Let's just say you chose stained concrete. Man, this stained concrete, I'm going to have the TV right there. I'm going to have a real nice lamp right here. I'm going to have photos of my family right here. And I'm telling you, in a real short period of time, you will be able to picture everything that you're saying that would be in that room. You'd be able to picture it. And you can do it in one of the bathrooms. And you can walk around, and I'm telling you, you do that long enough, you might end up wanting to buy that house from whoever's making it. But the same thing needs to be in your life. You should be able to use your imagination the way that God intended it to be used, and you should be able to meditate on those things that God's already told us that we have the authority over. So, so no, it's not wrong to use your imagination that way, because that's what our imagination is for. Our imagination is to be thinking upon things that God has already given us authority to do. So if you're talking about healing, not only are you imagining yourself healing people and moving your mind towards that truth, you're also harnessing your emotions, which part of that is going to be, your flesh questioning whether you can do that or not. And so you harness your emotion, which is going to be fear that, oh man, it's not going to work, or it's not going to happen. And we're not supposed to be in fear about something that God's already told us that we can do, right? He said greater things. He said, the things that I do, greater things you shall do. Or the things that I do, you shall do also, and greater things you shall do. So using your imagination towards all of those things is what we're supposed to do. Even talking about harnessing your emotions, you should be imagining yourself waking up, your body or whatever the circumstances going around you, you're going to be tempted every day to be sad. You're going to be tempted every day to be depressed. And if you just say to yourself, well, that's how I feel, well, you're not really using your emotion at all, are you? You just kind of, again, hopping onto this horse named emotions, and you're just allowing this horse to just take you on a journey. That's not how life is supposed to be. Your life is not supposed to be where emotions is just taking you along. This is going to be a very bumpy ride. At some point, you have to pull the reins back, turn that head, force emotions to stop trying to sprint in a very negative direction, and you start controlling that. It's the same thing with healing. Healing is not supposed to be something you do in fear, right? Your emotions can get involved, but you need to start picturing yourself doing these things. And don't just stop with healing. It should be you ministering to people's lives changing. People not thanking you because you're God. No. But showing gratitude and saying, wow, you really blessed me. People don't understand you're a disciple of God. And when someone says thank you, they're thanking God. Stop allowing people to make you believe that when people are showing gratitude to you, that you have to somehow fall down before God strikes you with lightning. Listen, you are his son and daughter. He's not mad. He's not up there. Listen, God is not jealous in that way. If you're his son or his daughter, he's not jealous because people are thanking you, because he understands that you're his and people are not worshiping you. Well, it just drives me nuts when people are being so corrective. When someone's like, hey, man, Mrs. So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so, I want to thank you so much. God is not dumb. You don't have to be like, oh, hold on, man. It was all God. It was not me. Oh, my Lord, have mercy. Are we one with God or not? He knows your heart. Stop acting like you've been saved for 3 days and you still see God as like Zeus. And if you don't do everything perfect, he's just going to damn you to hell because you didn't stop someone in the middle of their sentence and say, oh, hold on. It wasn't I. It was God. First of all, the person's been listening to you talk highly of Jesus for hours. So when they come thank you, why are you thinking that they think you're God? Let me tell you this. Next time somebody thanks you and you're tempted to say, oh, it's not me, it's God. Why don't you just ask them, say, hey, do you think I'm God? They're going to look at you like you're dumb. It's going to be the dumbest thing they ever heard. They're going to tell you, no, I don't think you're God. So if they don't think you're God, it's just gratitude. Stop being afraid of gratitude. Allow them to say thank you. It's okay. You know in your heart that it was Christ that is leading them in that direction. They just told you they don't think you're God. So where are they doing something wrong? Don't you know what it blows my mind, dude. Not everybody thinks that you think that they're thanking you like if you're some God. It's ridiculous. If somebody says, oh, thank you for telling me, say, oh, well, you're welcome. You're welcome, 100%. And you continue to glorify God by bringing people alive, not in your name. If you would do it in your name, you'd be telling them, in my name shall you be saved. I have never heard a contrite heart Christian say in their name that somebody is saved. But yet when someone says thank you, they're like, oh, it's not me. It's all God. Well, no, duh. You've been talking about God for 45 minutes. I know you're not doing it in your own name. Oh, my Lord, have mercy. The religiosity kills me, how people are. You know, and then if you don't correct them, now here comes the naysayers. Oh, I heard you. You should have corrected that person. Oh, really? I'll do it right in front of them. I'll say, I'll do better than that. Hey, Mrs. Johnson, come here. Remember when you were telling me thank you for explaining this to you? Yeah. Hey, do you think I'm God? No. Okay. Well, because Karen Shirley over here, she thinks that you think I'm God. Can you tell her? And let them go at it. That's how ridiculous it is to me. Hey, can you and they'll go at it. That lady will say to her, honey, you think I think he's God? Well, you said thank you and he didn't correct you. They're about to get put in their place. Nobody thinks that you're God, dude. Now, if somebody comes up to you and says, oh, great. Well, let's just say your name is Joshua. I don't know. Oh, great Joshua. Oh, thank you, God of Joshua. I mean, bro, like if you don't tell that person, whoa. See, in the Bible, there were people that tried to do that with some of the disciples of Jesus in the Bible. And they say, whoa, get up. We're just men. If people are not worshiping you like that, stop being scared and making sure. Hold on, God. Hey, make sure you tell God that you don't think I'm God, okay? Because, I mean, something's wrong with your viewpoint if you think that God doesn't understand what's going on. But the disciples that told those men, whoa, don't worship us. We're just men. Use your discernment. You should know if someone's worshiping you or just showing gratitude. You should know the difference. Stop this religious crap where you're just going around because someone is saying thank you to a person that helped him. And what you're really trying to do is you just want them to stop saying their name and you're telling them that they're wrong. You're wrong. You're worshiping that person. And yet they'll tell you to your face, no, nobody's where you're the one that's wrong. You're lying. It's called bearing false witness. Bearing false witness is when you are telling someone that they think they're God or they're thinking highly of themselves. You are a liar. That is not what's happening. Anytime you see someone acting this way, you need to call them out and ask them, do they think God is stupid? No, okay, then you need to stop it because it's a bunch of immature games that people are playing. I have never seen a person with a contrite heart believe that people are thanking them instead of God. Gratitude is not the same thing as praise when it comes to God. Don't get it twisted. Let's see. Okay, Saba, you got something else to say regarding that, or?
No, that was beautifully explained. And also like the one that you explained earlier, like when you get up in the morning, like nobody prays to God, and say like, Lord, like, make my day like a worst day or whatever. But then like you move ahead,
Yeah. Like
you actually become that. So that was a beautiful explanation to see it from that perspective. It was very like, mind blowing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because it's not true. It's not true, man. People are, it's weird when you're talking about emotions and people are more focused on how those emotions led you to sin and they're not focused on the emotions at all. So if somebody is acting again, depressed and you're looking at them like, what? Did you wake up? Like, I just want to ask, hey, I got to ask, did you wake up today and say, Lord, you said to us, Lord, we have not because we ask not. Lord, I ask that you max me out in depression today. I just want to ask, did you pray for that today? Because you got it. You got it. And they'll say, what? No, I would never pray for such a thing. I said, okay, that's funny. You're not praying for it. I'm curious. If that's not what you prayed for, how did you get that? Well, let me tell you about my circumstance. There you go. I already seen it coming. Something bad has happened in their life, and they allowed a lie to come in and say, well, then you are due for a bad day. And they don't even feel bad. They don't even understand that that is an attack on them. They just gladly receive it as though they have no choice over it whatsoever. And that part is a lie. 100%. The reason that I brought up Deuteronomy 28 is because the reason that God punished Israel is because they were lacking joy. They were lacking these things. And again, God would not be a just God if he punished them and then they had no control over their emotions. He 100% is telling them, you are in control. That's why Moses said, or God said to Moses when he cried to him because Pharaoh was coming, he cried. And God said, why criest thou unto me? Why, Moses, why are you crying to me? And to this day, if you tell someone that, they'll say, what do you mean? I'm crying because I'm crying to God. No, bro. If you're a believer, you've already cried out. He's already answered the cry with Christ, which is the iron rod. You already have the authority of God living on the inside of you. Why are you not using it? The problem is they don't understand. There's not enough people trying to get others to understand this. There's not. If there was a lot of people ministering this truth to other people, there would not be so many people appalled at what I'm saying. They would understand. But the truth is, it's a whole lot of people that have no idea what I'm saying. So they're like, how dare you tell me not to use my emotions? And they've been a Christian for 10 or 20 years, and they don't understand what I'm trying to tell them. Right? So it's not okay for you to be hanging out with people who are called themselves Christians and they're beat up 24/7. Something is wrong. And we're going over what is wrong. We're going over that, right? So we'll be going over this topic for at least 2 or 3 weeks, just like we were going over spirit, soul, and body for like a couple of months. I kind of pushed spirit, soul, and body a little bit further because there's so much to go over. And when you bring this up, the topic, right, spirit, soul, and body to someone, most of what you're saying is, like I said, alienated. They're very confused. And so for some reason, that one is very hard for people to grasp onto. Now, talking about your emotions and things like that, there's more people that can understand that than there is people who understand spirit, soul, and body. So, it's more like a 50%. Spirit, soul, and body is 70% of people are not understanding what you're saying. But when you're talking about harnessing emotions, it's usually a 50-50. But I'm still saying 50% is a lot. You go to adults and you bring this up, there are adults that still don't understand what you're saying. So, but yeah, so Saba, anything else or anybody got anything else? Jennifer, I finally see you up here.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Jennifer, tomorrow, let's go over what you brought up tomorrow because it's already 2:00. I've been trying to get off since 1:30. I've been trying to get off for like 30 minutes and I can't seem to get off. So, but Jennifer, we ain't forgot about you. Hopefully tomorrow I come on a lot earlier. I did come on a little bit later than usual today, but I mean, just certain things take priority is all. So, but Jennifer, you got anything to say before we go though?
No, it was good. Thank you for the teaching.
Absolutely. But so God bless, guys. We will see y'all in the morning.